Hello, and welcome to Hightailing Through History, a history podcast where two sisters get high and surprise each other with a story from history's vault of the weird and the wonderful. Oh, don't be scared, friends. It's just your skeletal older sister, Laurel. Spooky Halloween. Your turn, Katie.
That's Samhain to you, bro. You said my name, so my name's Katie, making me the younger sister.
Younger sister, Katie. There we go. We're off to a flying start. Did you wear your Halloween shirt tonight?
Oh, yeah, you can't see it.
Okay.
It's like...
Put up a little bit then.
Okay, hold on.
Try harder.
It's actually a band t-shirt, believe it or not. But it's like...
It's not a band t-shirt.
It is. It's the Dead South, and they're so good.
It's really cute.
Thank you.
Not cute. Sorry, it's really badass and cool. And you also look so spooky.
Oh, thank you. I was gonna wear my glow-in-the-dark Universal shirt. I have a Universal with the Wolfman, the Mummy, Dracula. There's one more.
Oh.
Creature of the Black Lagoon?
Maybe? It could be him.
No, I think it's the Black Lagoon guy. It's not the Phantom. I know that for sure. But yeah, I was gonna wear that one, but I can't find it. So you get the Dead South Halloween style.
Like it. That also looks good. Yeah, everybody, it is episode 71, and we are celebrating Halloween, or Samhain, as Katie says, tonight, and with some spooky stories, a little bit of mystery history, and I hope you guys are all having a spooky good time.
Hopefully it's less wet where everybody else is, because it's rains stupidly much here. What are you drinking?
Oh, so I have half an edible going on. And then I have a glass of Mija sangria, which is the sangria that you brought over to our house.
I left that there, yeah.
I've just started drinking it just now, and it's really good, and I think I might
You like it? Okay, good, because I tried a couple brands. That was the one I landed on, and I was really excited to get your opinion weeks ago when I left it at your house.
I know, it's been sitting there, and I'm like, that feels like a spooky sort of drink to have, like a sangria. I like witch's brew, that kind of thing.
Yes. Well, I have a witch's brew too. If you didn't like the mulled wine I made, though. Not your thing.
Mulled wine fan, I've realized.
Okay. If we do a game night this Friday, I'm gonna have to make you some of my. It's pronounced wassail, but I always like to shout wassail because it's more fun. And I make a really good one, my own spice blend and all that. And I put brandy in it, and it's delicious.
Okay, I'll try that.
You're gonna have to, dude. Blake is not a big fan of like mulled. He likes mulled cider, but when he had the wassail, which I'm told rhymes with fossil, he was like, "What is that?" Because he just tried my drink, and I was like, "That's." Because anytime I would go to buy the brandy, he's like, "Why are you buying brandy? It's all sweet." Blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, that's the point of it. It's for mixing with stuff. That's why it's sweet. I'm not going to use fine bourbon in my wassail. I could. It would defeat the purpose of buying fine bourbon.
Right.
And he tried it, and he goes, "Oh my God, I need some of that." Comes back from the store with a gallon of cider. He's like, "You need to make more of this. I bought you some star anise." I'm like, "I'm fucking impressed you even know what star anise is." He goes, "Well, when you were rifling through your herbs like a witch," because he always laughs about that, because I'm like rifling through making potions and whatnot. And he's like, "I heard you say you were low on star anise, so I made sure we had some." I was like, "I didn't even know you'd know where to find that."
I overheard that we were running low on star anise. I don't know what that is, but I will find some for you, my love, my darling.
What a man.
Get you someone who overhears you need star anise and finds it for you.
Right.
That could have been.
And then
like,
goes.
Oh my God, hang on. So like, what if star anise wasn't that easy to come by? And it was like a whole trek. He's like, I have to go down to a market in the city,
an apothecary,
and find star anise. He was just like following it on a Post-it note, just like, can anybody help me find this star? What if it was a big deal? And he's like, I still will find this for my lady love.
I suppose it was a big deal because he liked what I made so much. And I said something about, "Oh, okay, well, I'm happy to make you a cup. my star anise is running low. I'll have to make sure I get more.
Okay.
So, but you could still give him the credit because
Okay.
he did find it and he did make it happen. So, but I think it was
Very
important
cool.
because he enjoyed the beverage.
Right. I'm sure that's probably exactly what that's all about. But I'm going to give him some credit for that because he's pretty great.
You may. I will allow it.
Oh, we've got our drinks. We have got our fun shirts of varying descriptions, and we are ready for the history. At least I am. Are you ready for the history?
I'm always ready for the history. I was getting
Ready for
so
the
excited. I was
history.
like geeking out. So whilst over visiting the Hawaiian Islands, I did not get a chance to get to
Oh yeah,
Queen
welcome back,
Lily.
Katie.
Thank you. Thank you for taking care of all my animals, the entire clan.
Yeah.
I'll try not to take a long vacation in the near future. That's all right. For those who don't know, we visited Maui. We being Blake and I. It was wonderful. It felt like I didn't leave the Midwest.
Okay.
And someone's like, well, yeah, that's the Aloha. I was like, great, but I've never been to Hawaiian Island, so I've never experienced that. So this is the first time for me. But they were just talking about how that the welcoming hospitality and all that, like that's really what aloha is, not just a greeting, it's a feeling that they want you to get when you're there, and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it.
No, good. I'm glad to have you back. Yeah, last week we had Kelly filling in
Yes.
for History of Sex Part 2. That was a lot of fun. So much fun. Here we go. Bottle leaf grinder.
All right, let me put my wine down.
Bottle leaf grinder. Shoot. Okay, I had a bottle and grinder. I crushed yours. Okay, crushed your grinder. I get to go first. I love some mystery history. Some strange and mysterious history. Okay.
It's my favorite. I do. I love mystery history.
The sky split in two. Fire appeared high and wide over the forest. From where the fire was came strong heat. Then the sky shut closed, and a strong thump sounded, and I was thrown a few yards. After that, such noise came, as if cannons were firing. The earth shook. End quote. This is the eyewitness account, which came from a Siberian farmer named Semen Semenov. I'm not going to lie. His name is written Semen Semenov. And I just thought saying Semen Semenov. It's probably actually Semen Semenov. But that's like naming your kid Dick Dixon. So trying to be as respectful as possible. But it is Semen Semenov. Just holding my hands and nervous laughing.
We're going to call him Semen.
Semen. Mm-hmm. That's what I like too. His account is one of the closest that anyone was to one of history's greatest mysteries, the Tunguska Event.
Happy to say I have no idea what this is.
Okay.
Which is going to be good. Honestly, based upon that quote you gave, I was like, shit, dude, Ragnarok's down upon us. Like, that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, hell yeah.
The event, which occurred in 1908, is defined as the largest impact of a cosmic body in modern human history. Now, on the surface, I don't really think that sounds that strange. When I read that is the actual definition of the Tunguska event, is that it's the largest impact of a cosmic body in modern human history. And I was just like, okay, well, that sounds kind of scary and dangerous if you would have been, in range of that impact. That's scary. But I didn't understand where the mystery was. The mystery lies in scientists finding no physical evidence of an actual impact, i.e., like a crater, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sit with me, friends. This is a bit of a weird one. And since it is strange mystery history, there are naturally a lot of people across the internet that debate different aspects of the event and have their own theories and thoughts about it, like aliens. Like
that has to be the first one that
UFO.
comes up, obviously.
Black holes. I'm not even sure how the black hole works without sucking everything else into it. I don't know. But anyway,
yeah,
black
man,
holes
once you get
comes up.
that event horizon, dude, it's all over. Spaghettification. Look it up. No, you think I'm
No, I
shitting
know
you.
you're.
Okay, I was like, no, that's a real thing.
No, I know. It just makes me nervous. Ugh.
I'm just
Space
laughing in
freaks me out.
anxiety.
I do that a lot and hold my hands like this. So, aliens, yeah, black holes. We'll just get those out of the way. Those are the little conspiracy theory sort of non-conventional theories that come up for this. So, just so you know where I'm getting my information from, because it can vary and be so wild, I stuck mostly to scholarly articles from Oxford and a handful of other scholarly journals. An article from The Conversation, American Physical Society, NASA, Scientific American. So my sources are all listed in the notes, but just so you know, I'm not going on like tinfoilhat.com. Bitches. Sorry.
Don't apologize, first of all.
So June 30th, 1908 at 7:14 a.m., the Tunguska Event happens. Striking close to the river Podkamenya Tunguska. Our farmer friend, Saman Samanoff, was 40 miles away, or 65 kilometers away for our international audience. He was about 40 miles away from this epicenter, and he was still thrown off his feet backwards. Let's have a scary quick look at how blast energy is measured, because it was a lot for me to comprehend. Blast energy is described in comparison to conventional TNT, like your cartoon stick of dynamite,
Mhm.
So first we have kilotons, which is 1,000 tons of dynamite. And then you have megatons, which is 1 million tons of dynamite. The atomic bombs that the US dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, Japan, were 21, 25 kilotons and 15 kilotons, respectively.
Okay. Oh, they weren't megatons. Okay.
No. The largest weapon ever tested was the Soviet Union's Tsar Bomba, which was listed as 50 or 58 megatons. And that's the largest weapon that's ever been tested, 50 to 58 megatons. And we know the devastation of these weapons. If you've seen, unfortunately, footage of any of these bombs being dropped or the Tsar Bomba being tested, which is just nightmare fuel, you can put a little bit of imagination into sort of these sizes here. So that's a reference point for you, kids. Now, estimates vary for the Tunguska event, but I read that the blast energy is described as little as 3 megatons, or a very large hydrogen bomb, which is roughly like 10 to 15 megatons.
Holy shit, hydrogen bombs are like the bomb. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So we have footage of Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dreadful.
Well, I don't want to speak so confidently on that. There's videos of the bombs being from the bombs being dropped and the detonation of them.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah. And then there's test footage of Tsar Bomba, which is like, I'll put it in the show notes. So if anyone wants to see that. So I saw that listed on two government sites as 50 megatons and 58 megatons. So those are the two numbers, which is actually quite a big difference, really, if you think of like each megaton. So those are the two sizes, or, blast energy
measurements given on it
or whatever. Yeah.
That's weird. I wonder why
50
there's such a variation on it.
There's a lot of variation on a lot of the stuff that I've was finding. Like,
it must just be hard for them to measure.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee what they're doing is they're measuring crater size, the depth, the blast range, and all that, like, is what they're doing. And you're getting varied results because depending upon wind conditions, soil conditions, and all this shit, it's gonna be different no matter what.
That's an interesting take. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. That sounded sarcastic.
Out, man.
That sounded really sarcastic. I was being serious. I'm like, I actually don't know, but that's just, sure.
Well, like a softer soil is going to leave a deeper crater than like harder soil. Like just, just a thought.
Effects from the blast went out as far as Central Asia and Northern Europe. So that people were seeing like these like huge silvery clouds. It was very, very bright, even in the middle of the night. People in London and Germany were able to read newsprint at midnight. It was just like the flash of it was so bright. So it got people going, what's going on? But it lands in the middle of Siberia, right? It's estimated that if this cosmic body, whatever it might have been, hit near a major city, let's throw New York City out there as an example.
Yes, then New York, not Chicago.
Yeah. Love you, New York, but it's a huge city.
It's massive, yeah. It's easily
area.
like 5 of Chicago.
Yeah. The entire metropolitan area of New York City. So we're talking Manhattan, Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, like the whole metropolitan area would be completely razed to the ground.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, just to put this all in perspective of like how massive this was. If it hit near London or on London, the entire city center along the river there is destroyed, but also all the way out into the M25, which is the circular highway that goes around like the whole outside sort of area of London and all of its suburbs and nearby towns. So it would destroy at least out to there. And then the effect, like the blast effects from it, if someone's wearing a hat in Edinburgh, it would have been blown off their heads.
In Scotland?
In Scotland.
Holy fucking shit.
This is the estimate from one of the scientists. They're like, this is,
Oh my God.
I know. Yep, in Scotland. And then people living in Oxford, which is like 65-ish miles northwest of London. So it's a little bit further out than we are to Chicago. But people in Oxford would have been thrown from their feet and a lot of them severely burned. That's like 66 sort of miles out from London. Topsoil would have been stripped off fields as far northwest as Manchester sort of area, like a little bit south of Manchester.
Shit. That's like the northern part of the country.
Yeah.
Near the northern end. I know it's about as far north as I've been in the country. Let's put it that way. Everything beyond that is Scotland. If I haven't been. I'm just kidding.
There's Lake District. That's my favorites.
Oh, and Newcastle, right?
And who?
Newcastle? Isn't Newcastle?
Oh, Newcastle, yeah. Northeast.
Yes, indeed.
See, we're winning back our geography cards from the UK is what it is. We're like, hey, I know you got thoughts about Americans and their geography, but look, we're going to reel it back in.
I'm not going to pretend to know all about England's geography, Newcastle. But I probably have a better understanding than the average American, but that's not much.
But that's the sort of range we are talking about. It was an area
How big is Siberia?
I know. The area destroyed was 2,000 square kilometers or 775 square miles. So like, holy shit, right? And it just goes to
Siberia is massive.
Yes. Goes to show how vast it is, but also mercifully how sparsely populated it is as well.
It's one of the coldest places on Earth, by the way.
Mm-hmm. And sparsely populated, but still occupied, which is important to note.
Yes.
The Evenki people still live up there and were at this time, and they're a nomadic reindeer herding group. And in that area, there are also, so there's a lot of, the reindeer and the people like going through Siberia, but then also there are a few kind of scattered Russian farmers like our Semen Semenov.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's nuts.
If that had landed anywhere else on Earth besides Antarctica, it would have had a mass devastating effect.
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize that? Like, sorry, I'm just looking at it and I'm like, literally anywhere else.
There's the picture, and I'll put this up for everybody. If you're watching on Spotify or YouTube, where the blast actually hits in Siberia, it is probably the most central, middle of nowhere location it could have gone. Thankfully,
wow.
In terms of just like where other like little cities and villages are in Siberia. So the blast did kill a lot of the reindeer, which is detrimental to the people because that's their livelihood. And the shock, and there were also deaths due to shock-induced heart attacks that killed a few of the elderly Evenki people. They thought in a lot of testimony, they thought it was their god of thunder, I believe, who was mad at them for having conflicts within the tribe when that happened. So it scared the hell out of them. It scares the hell out of everybody. But like they were thinking that they were being like apocalyptic. They thought that they were like being
Fucking get
punished
along or
for.
Thor's gonna come
Yeah,
fucking whoop your ass. Honestly, though, that would be
terrifying.
terrifying.
Right.
That would be so scary.
I don't blame them. I'd be terrified.
And
So
to
there
this
were a
day,
few
they all
deaths.
still get along.
Yeah.
Whatever it
Learn
takes.
their lesson. We're not doing it. So it's this isolation in central Siberia, as well as just kind of some political upheaval going on at this time period that adds to the story and the not being able to look into this right away. So let's pepper in a little history with our mystery. 1908, Russia. Before the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917,
Yeah.
in which Russia ends its Tsarist rule with very violent changeover into communist Soviet Union. Before that, leading up to that point, there were years and years of turmoil before the shit hits the fan in 1917, which is typically the case. You know, like revolutions don't magically pop out of nowhere, you know. So when we look back in time, 1905, there's something called the Russian Revolution, which ultimately failed but set the stage for the Bolshevik Revolution. So between 1905 and 1917, like the boat was already rocking, and now it's like there's a lot of back and forth. And so when a large something or other drops down out of the sky and makes a big mess in a remote part of their country, like they had other things going on. And
it's not the forefront of their concerns.
Right. And it's not that they didn't think it was important. They were like, whoa, this is really, really weird. But also at the same time, like, is everything okay for the most part? Like, didn't land on the city, right? You know, and so they're like, we kind of have to focus on what we're doing. We only have so many resources.
Right.
More of like a bureaucracy, red tape kind of thing with two opposing regimes against each other like this. And it wasn't until nearly 20 years later, in 1927, that the first scientific expedition was led to the site.
Wow. That is a long time.
Yes. So it's just about 19 years. It was led by Russian mineralogist. Actually, he's born in Estonia. So Estonian or Soviet mineralogist, Leonid Kulik. And because meteorites and asteroids have a lot of rare alloys, metals and iron and stuff like that, the government funded his expedition to like go to the site and see what he could mine. And you know, what can we get off this meteorite that fell in our backyard? Even when Kulik and his team got there 19 years later, there were unmistakable signs of devastation. Like no change really happened during those 19 years.
Wow.
In this area of Siberia, there's a lot of like rolling hills, a lot of timber, you know, pine forests. And so if you're watching on Spotify or YouTube, if you're watching the video, here's what the scientists saw when they got there. Now, initially, because they thought a meteorite had hit the area, they started to look for an impact point, you know, evidence of meteorite fragments.
This is bigger than the crater in Arizona. It's a massive fucking crater.
Except it's not a crater. There's no crater there.
Oh, I see.
So it's just like rolling hills.
Yeah. Well, they're showing a hill. That's what threw me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the mystery. So scientists are walking around the area and got to the point where like they're not finding a crater, but there's a clump of trees that had been stripped bare and were singed, but we're still standing upright. And then from that point, from that clump of trees, in a radius all around, radiating out into like sort of a butterfly shape.
Yeah.
All the trees were flattened like that, away from that clump of trees.
I mean, if it burned up in the atmosphere, though, which happens with a lot of our stuff, the only reason I say that is because when I took my astronomy class, our teacher showed us a picture of how many flying like asteroids and meteorites and stuff hit us on a like daily basis. The entire world was peppered with blue, like it happens all the time. It's like they burn up in our atmosphere. It's like, am I supposed to feel comforted by this? Because I don't. Because of shit like this.
Yes. No, you're exactly right. It's wild. Yeah, and yeah, they would, but then there's these big ones that they can happen. And scientists were saying that like a
Ask the fucking
Tunguska event
dinosaurs
sort of
about
like
that
this
one.
would actually is estimated to happen about every 100 years, which is kind of wild because okay, keep in mind this happens in 2008. I'm gonna have another little story for you at the end. Okay,
Oh boy.
so this clump of trees in the middle, stripped bare, singed. They're like telegraph poles, is how they described them. And then the trees are flattened out into a radius all around that. And then there's a lot of like burn marks. The ground's kind
Mm-hmm.
of rippled and crumpled up. There's little pock marks in the ground, not like really craters, but just like these weird divots. And then, like again, there's the char, but there's the fires kind of stops. And the idea was that the heat blast was about 4,000 degrees, and
Wow.
then the wind that rushed off it set the fires back out again. This sounds horrifying.
Interesting. This is what happens though when, I mean, yes, horrifying, but also just with what I've learned about a lot of these like events like this, it sounds like it's some like it sounds like it's like stopped in the sky. And I know this sounds good, but like this is me trying to make sense of it. It sounded like it stopped, hit something, exploded, whatever, burned up in the sky, and that's where those pot marks are. That's the
Hmm.
shrapnel, if you will, from it. And that fire and that blast, that would make a lot of sense. Weird and interesting to think of what would have, because then you'd have no crater because there's no impact, right?
Hmm.
It's just weird. Hmm.
It is weird, but
I'm making my
I like what you're
hypotheses.
saying. You keep that in your pocket, okay?
Oh, okay. I'm
Yep,
putting
keep
it in
that in
there.
there.
Okay.
Good, good, good. Tuck it in. Make sure it doesn't fall out because you might need to be calling up NASA later. Okay.
Okay, because I zipped it. I zipped my pocket. That's what you can do with the
Zip,
Adidas
yeah.
pen. Did you?
Yeah. I was like, what is she
Ready.
doing? Literally zipping it into her pocket. Perfect. Good. Because you don't want anyone else to steal that idea. All right.
Okay.
I don't know. That's very
My
final.
astronomy teacher would be so proud right now.
So Kerlick and his team searched the area in 3 separate expeditions during the 20s and the 30s, but they never found rock fragments or any evidence of the actual quote unquote cosmic body that gets credited for the destruction to the area. Leonid studied this for about 20 years, just about, and he really cut the path for future scientists to study the Tunguska event. But unfortunately, he was unable to see more research and answers since he died in a Nazi war camp during World War II.
Oh,
So he's
come
a veteran of
on.
World War I and II. Yeah,
Why did the
fucking
fucking
Nazis.
Nazis ruin everything? It's like we had
Always.
this priceless art, but then the fucking Nazis stole it. It's like, those guys are just fucking assholes. Like for
I
obvious
started watching
reasons,
that
and then
movie.
even down to like
Yeah.
the most minute reason. Like there's no
Hmm.
forgivable anything.
Now, this is such a mystery, of course, to scientists pre 1950s. So let's
Okay.
add in some like mid 20th century and forward sort of science to explain things a little bit. The theory that gets the most support, Katie, you can unzip your pocket and pull it back out again.
Wait.
A few scientists have slight variations on said theory, but the general idea is that an asteroid entered Earth's atmosphere at a 30-degree angle. There was an air burst. So, like, there's enough air pressure, I guess is what it is, that it causes it to
Shit.
burst apart. I think is how I understand it. But anyway, it busts
Weird.
apart
Okay.
is all you really need to know.
Yeah.
This burst happened several kilometers above that point of destruction in Tunguska, where all the
Mm-hmm.
trees were there, and it radiates out. And that's why there's such devastation, but there's no crater or clear impact point on the ground. So if you can
Okay.
see, like I'm going to make my arm here be Earth's surface. The asteroid's coming in at a 30-degree angle, and it goes boom, and it busts apart. And it's like when we're looking up and looking at the
Mm-hmm.
bottom of it, you would see it bust apart, but then the heat, that kinetic energy and the heat energy
Oh
would come
yeah.
down at that center point and blast out from there. Scary to think about, but
I
that's
don't
their
think people
theory.
realize how hot things are entering our atmosphere. The speed that you have to
Hmm.
get to create that force, it's insane. First of all, everyone should take an astronomy class because it is literally life changing. Also
I
take it
love
with my
astronomy.
teacher because he was the best. But astronomy teachers are probably pretty cool the world around.
Mhm.
So, and we had
I
this
would
really
imagine
cool
that.
planetarium that was like this upside down dome that you had to like crawl under, and you could just lay there and like remote your way through the universe. It was so fun. I loved that class.
Let's just go take it again. The
Let's
local
do
club.
it. Are you
That
coming
just
with me?
yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh my god, it's
I've
so
always
fun.
wanted to take an astronomy class.
Dude, if you're serious, I will actually do it with you because
Okay.
it's the best. And soon I won't have a job. So woo!
All
Woo!
right. Well, there we go. Hold us to it. New semester. We're signing up. New students. Astronomy.
If it's the same teacher, I'll be like, why are you here? I'll be like, because I loved it so much the last time. Just let me love it again.
Mm-hmm. Let me come back. I
Oh.
bet professors would be like, yeah, I was about to say over the moon, but you know what? I am going to say it. I bet
Do it.
professors would be over the moon to have like students
A
that
return
they had
student.
before like come back and be like, I loved it so much. I'm taking this class again.
Probably.
Like, aw, I know. I think that's sweet.
I hope so.
What's not sweet is Tunguska Event explosions. So,
Yes.
so Kulik didn't know at the time that an airburst could happen, like that was a thing scientifically that happens. So this news changes everything. Scientists, though, some scientists are like, cool, cool, cool. But that doesn't explain why we haven't found a lot of big fragments on the ground. And so then they start playing with the distance from the ground that how many kilometers up that it did do an airburst and this and that. And then some scientists were like, well, wait a second. How about a comet? Because a comet basically is just a muddy ball of ice.
Mm-hmm.
And if that blows
Essentially.
apart, if that blows apart, then, it might get evaporated and blown to smithereens from the
Right.
heat blast.
Or even whatever would land would melt, so you'd never find it.
Right.
It's a good thought. Yeah.
Well,
Sorry, can you see my like?
I was like, I'm gonna let that happen. You went
I didn't
somewhere.
think about that. Yeah. Damn, dude. Because space is really fucking cold. It's like negative 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit or something crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or Kelvin, which I think is actually like, I don't know,
Worse.
it's fucking crazy ass cold. When they told me that, I was like, what? And I thought fucking negative 52 degrees Fahrenheit was cold.
Yeah, that's enough for me. I'm good. So in the time since 1927, scientists have just kind of been working to figure it out. In addition to finding out about airbursts and then going down that road and following those theories, they've experimented and expeditioned and tested and used different kinds of technology to figure it out to try to solve the mystery. Bogs and lakes have been drained or like sediment tested and mapped to see like the depths at the bottom, if it's more flat bottomed or if it has like a funnel shape. And
I was
the
going to
funnel
ask
shape
if they
means that it's
tested,
like,
yeah.
a part of this whole thing. So they've been doing
in
all
Antarctica, when they do drillings, they find evidence of old asteroids and big shit that hit the Earth a long time ago. So it's actually very relevant information.
Mm-hmm. It really is. And so all these things have happened, but there's never really been like a big aha or eureka moment with all of it. Even a little more recently in 2008, which was the centennial of the event, there were 2 Italian scientists and they took a team down and did an expedition to the area to look at Lake Checo. Now, these are the same 2 Italian scientists that wrote my Scientific American source. So if you're like, that sounds cool, they talk all about this expedition, like the exact equipment and how they measure stuff and what they did and what order. It's like very detailed. So.
Yeah. Is Lake Checo, is that the one where it's like ice when you're like swimming in ice? Is it that one? I thought that was the lake in Siberia.
It could be. I don't know. It's a small freshwater lake. It's shaped like a little oval like this, and it has 2 little I call them like jellyfish tentacles that kind of go out like this.
Jellyfish tentacles.
So if you want to hear like every bit of their expedition, that's the place to go. It is really interesting, but they were doing the whole thing of like mapping the bottom with the funnel shape, and they did find a funnel shape in Lake Checo, but then there were different sediment tests and other shapes of things that didn't quite make sense if it was going to be what they're looking for. Like if it's supposed to be an impact crater, then it should look like this or have this sort of stuff. So there were a lot of dead ends with some of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where things stand really until from the centennial in 2008 until another asteroid airburst event in February of 2013. So it's just a little over 100 years later.
Yeah.
Also in Russia,
Get out, really?
Chelyabinsk,
I wonder
Russia.
if it's the tilt of Earth's axis. It's just a good spot for it to seem to hit.
Mm.
And I wonder if because of... Did it happen the same time of year?
Mm-hmm. No, I'm
See-
sorry. June 30th was when the Tunguska event happened.
And when did this last asteroid hit?
February 15th, 2013.
June and February. Okay. So not quite the same. I was going to say, I wonder if that's like a hot spot or whatever. But anyway.
Yeah.
Now you have my little brain going. I'm like, let's figure this out.
So on February 15th, 2013, similar to Tunguska, there was a bright fireball streaking across the sky. Loud sonic boom. But more populated, though. A bunch of windows shatter. And the asteroid was house-sized when it entered the atmosphere in Chelyabinsk. Then blows apart 14 miles above the ground.
See?
Yeah. The explosion released the energy equivalent of around 440,000 tons of TNT and generated a shockwave that blew out windows over 200 square miles and damaged some buildings.
Damn.
Over 1,600 people were injured in the blast, mostly because of the broken glass blowouts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Shit. Right?
But see, there's another, of it blowing apart in the atmosphere. That's what I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm not just a pretty face.
You sure aren't. You got a brain in there too. Because of the injuries and like the suddenness of the event, space organizations around the world, particularly NASA, were like, oh shit, this is something we need to monitor and be prepared for. Like we can try and get ready in some way, need to monitor this.
Right. What happens when the next one rolls around?
Right. In January 2016, NASA establishes the Planetary Defense Coordination Office, the PDCO. And you might see it now, like there was an asteroid that was close enough to Earth where you were seeing warnings about it. At least I was. Like there were NASA reports coming out. I think it was like the last year or two. They're like, there's an asteroid that could potentially collide with Earth. And I was like, don't we know that that's like a bad thing potentially?
Right?
Like
Everyone's like, isn't there a whole movie about that? Ben Affleck? Yeah. Like, is that a thing?
And so that's their thing is like they monitor the asteroids and comets that can get close to the Earth, and like they have a whole defense plan set in place. And I was like, I've seen Armageddon.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right. We've got a team ready to get up there and take care of this.
Yeah. A ragtag but capable team of deep sea oil drillers. Heartthrob.
Were they deep sea oil drillers? God, it's been a while.
Bruce Willis. I almost said Ben Affleck. Not Heartthrob Ben Affleck. Sorry, Ben. I'm talking about Bruce. Heartthrob Bruce Willis. I thought they were. I thought they were like out on a rig, and that was the whole thing.
You're probably right. It's just been a long time. I mean,
arm them with a nuke, send them up there. They blow the asteroid in half, and Earth is saved. I've seen that movie. I know how that goes, NASA. That's how we save the day.
Arm them with a nuke. Couldn't we just shoot it with the nuke? Our technology is so advanced now, you don't need to actually go up there and plant it. But I mean, if you want to be a hero, go ahead.
Well, this was like in 1990, I don't know, 8, 9, something like that. So,
no,
I mean, you had to go up there and be a hero.
I think it was 2002.
No, because
You're
I
probably
remember slow dancing to it in middle school.
Fuck, what year did you say?
98 or 99.
Fuck, you nailed it. Nailed it. Okay, listen, anybody here, if you ever see Laurel out and about, do not challenge her to any sort of music or movie trivia or, like, especially, like, naming the song, the album, any of that. She will whoop your ass.
I will. Or you want me on your team for, like, pub quiz night sort
absolutely.
of stuff.
You want me on your team, too, because I have strong ADHD and an internet connection, so watch out. So, what'd you say?
You have animal facts up here, so
there's plenty. I'm just saying there's a lot of random shit I know that I shouldn't, but I do. So
That's incredibly useful on nights like that.
On trivia nights, yes. All other times, such as normal conversation, not as much.
Yeah, so let's just end it with like a not so fun fact that's going to make you sweat a little bit. Let's set this volleyball for Katie
Are you
to
about to?
spike it down. So the asteroid that hit the planet 65 million years ago and killed 75% of life on Earth
Yeah.
was a 6-mile wide asteroid,
Mm-hmm.
which geologists think hit in the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico.
Yep. It's underwater
So
now.
yeah, right. And so they're basically saying, like, hey, look, these big events are coming up just about every 100 years, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
So bend over, grab your ankles, assume an impact position, cover your head, whatever it is. And that's where things lie with the Tunguska event. Is basically they said it's an asteroid. There's an air burst. That's as far as we've gotten so far, but
And there's more
it can
coming.
all happen again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is the Tunguska event. Just to put a little chill down your spine.
Right. Well, anything I have to tell the listeners is not going to be any more comforting. So there's that.
Welcome to the smoke circle tonight.
Yes.
Ooh, spooky. We hope you've been having a great time. The Halloween episodes are always some of my favorites to do because the topics are fun and a little spooky, put a little chill down your spine, and really get you in the mood for Halloween. And I just love it. So I'm so glad you're here, and I hope you've been having a great time. If you've been enjoying yourself so far, please consider rating and reviewing on whatever platform you are listening or watching this episode. Rating, reviewing, following, subscribing, all these sort of things are wonderful ways to help support your favorite indie podcasts. It's a way to help move us up in charts so we are seen and heard by more people who like history, like you. And it's a free and easy way to help support us and, again, other indie podcasts that you love. And also, follow us on Instagram at Hightailing History or on TikTok at Hightailing History Pod. Over there, we're sharing news about the podcast and the episodes, but we're also sharing short videos called History One-Hitters, in which we've learned something cool about history that we want to share back with you, our Smoke Circle friends. Also, it's going to be a great way to stay in touch with us and keep up with us during our 6-week break. In case you missed it on our last episode, this episode is our last episode in a very, very long season 1 that we've had. We've decided that it's probably best for us to take a little time off so we can prepare new episodes and social media and extra behind-the-scenes content so we can help this podcast grow. And we just need to be able to carve out the time to do that. So we're going to be having a 6-week break. We're going to be coming back on December 1st. But if you miss us between now and then, find us over at Instagram or at TikTok. All of our social media accounts are tagged directly in our show notes below, so you can just scroll on down and find us there. Up next, Katie is taking us on a little tour across England and checking out some very spooky locations. And with that said, let's puff pass it on to part 2. And we are back. Got a refill, little top up, and yes, clink, tink, on to part 2. I'm really excited, Katie.
Good. I hope you're excited because I am also. All right. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here we are. In the name of spooky season and all things sinister and eerie, I have compiled a list of the spookiest castles. Yeah, good luck saying that 3 times fast, Katie.
There is a
the spookiest castles with histories that tread into the deep and the dark.
We're doing spooky castles?
In England, specifically. So it's not going to be like the ones in Romania or any of that. It was just a small little... They're fun. They're great stories. You're going to love it.
Still, though, this is cool. Just England or like the whole UK and Ireland?
It was the whole UK. We would have been here for an hour with me fitting all of them in. So I picked the top ones and put it in. So I think it stays in England.
Okay.
Yeah, but there is one. Well, no, one might be in Scotland because I think Mary Queen of Scots was at it. We'll get there. I have all the locations and stuff in them, so I'll tell you all about it.
There we go.
Anyone, anyone who is acquainted with history knows that the medieval ages are home to some of our darkest and most brutal moments as a race, which of course means that medieval castles are where we're going to find the best, or worst, hauntings and infamous legends.
Yes.
Always a good time. The first castle is found just 9 miles from the quaint and cozy little town of Bath, England,
Mm,
somewhere we're both acquainted with.
we've been there. Well, we've been there in our history minds.
Yes.
You've actually been there.
You've never been there?
Mm-mm.
Oh, there's a
I
really
know.
good sandwich place there.
That's
It's
what
like
you mentioned in the other episode.
I was really hungry when I got off the bus, and I was really excited about that sandwich.
You
It was
also
like
earlier
homemade
just
bread.
you're like, in Bath, there's a great sandwich shop. Also, there's McDonald's next to St. Paul's Cathedral. She's like, here's your historical landmark, and then here's the where you can
Here's
get
your
a snack.
lunching place. So yes. Yes, I think I went. I think that's actually the first time I ever had a Big Mac was right kitty corner from St. Paul's Cathedral after we got kicked
Nice.
out for whatever reason. And that's where those really cool Nordic runes were. Graffiti, Viking graffiti.
Yeah, that's
I
so
know.
cool.
It's me. I was like, this is so cool. Everyone's like staring at me like, what is your problem? I'm like, am I the only one excited about this?
No, that's really cool.
All of our listeners would have been excited too had they been there.
Field trip. That's what
So
we're doing.
we are going to take a field trip today. Speaking of field trips,
Okay.
as a little group, we're all going to go together. So here we are, 9 miles from Bath, driving through the countryside. Roads are blocked by sheep. The roads are narrow. Here we are.
Did I tell you that I've been down a road that got blocked by sheep?
Yeah, that's what happened in Bath. They had to like honk, and they all like like off.
Christian and I were driving down through the Lake District. Well, he was. I was definitely a passenger because there's not a chance in hell that I've been driving anywhere outside of America anyway. But then, like, especially on this particular road,
Yeah.
and we turn a corner, and it's a whole flock of sheep, and I just kind of did sheep or something like that, and it's just all their little faces
Staring at you.
and stone walls along the side. So there's like no
There's no way to go around.
And the shepherd and his son were both in like full Adidas tracksuits on bicycles. And they just kind of were like, it's all right, like, give motions of like, you just stay there, we're going to go around you. And we were like, okay. And so single file down each side of the car, the sheep are going, and I'm sobbing with laughter. I'm laughing so hard. And it gets to the point where then like the bikes are passing us, and we do like a little wave like, hey, and I'm tears streaming down my face. It's just, I have a picture. If I can find the picture, I know I have a picture of it because I thought it was like one of the funniest things that's ever happened to me. And if I have that, I'll put that up here for you folks, or put it on social media.
I would love
sheep.
that.
I'm so sorry.
It's like, I'm trying to think if we have any road blockages. Like, I think the only thing I can think of is geese.
Tractors.
Oh, yes.
Geese, tractors.
Yep.
Amish, like, carriages.
Yeah, Amish carriages. That's true. Yeah, we get a lot of those.
Like the horse and buggy or horse and carriage. Yeah.
Horse and buggy.
Tractors,
though. Yeah, tractors are a big one. And, you just got to sit back and chill. Like, don't jam up the farmer. And, like, people are just like, man. I'm like, why are you... What? Dude.
Chill. Sorry, we were about to go on a field trip, and
it's back to Bath. So 9 miles from Bath. Okay. That's okay.
Okay.
I will always take a side quest with you. I'm the purveyor of side quests. In the countryside is the Farley Hungerford Castle, which belonged to the Hungerford family for about 300 years. So the Hungerford family, they acquired their name from the town of Hungerford. Imagine that. Lived in Berkshire, Wiltshire, and Somerset. I think that's supposed to be Somerset. Excuse me.
Sounds right.
Yeah, for some 4 centuries. After distinguished beginnings, as commonly happens in these situations, the family
Mhm.
was plagued by misfortunes and scandals during the medieval and the Tudor periods. So I'm new to this, the Tudor thing, I didn't know what that was, so I included what it was for any of those of you who don't know what it is, like me. In England
It's fine.
and Wales, people of the dragon, the Tudor period occurred between 1485 and 1603 and included the yep, you got this. I got this.
Ethan, yep.
Elizabethan period during the reign of, wait for it, Elizabeth I.
There it is.
I know, hard to imagine. The Tudor period coincides with the dynasty of the House of Tudor in England, which began with the reign of Henry the, hold on, 7th?
Time up.
VII? Huh?
Yep.
Nailed it. Nailed it. I'm so smart.
You did great, kid.
Thanks, man. Also, wine. So, Sir Thomas Hungerford, the guy who originally built it, was the first Speaker of the House of Commons, and his son was knighted
Mhm.
by Henry the. Are you laughing at me?
Nope.
By Henry the Fourth, IV this time.
Mhm.
Later fighting at Agincourt, after which he received the knighthood of the Garter. Dirty. So, however, in the War of the Roses, which I think I'm going to do a story on at some point because we need to, a lot of the family lost their lives and their castle to the crown. This happened because they backed the Lancastrian cause, so what would you call it? The opposing force. Um, Several Hungerfords lost their lives to the scaffold as well. Imagination is needed to picture the castle in its heyday because it's really run down now.
Okay.
Obviously, a lot of these castles are. They're fucking old as shit. So yeah, it doesn't stay. Like, I don't know how else to say it to you. They're old as hell. Like, shit does not last. Well, it lasted. You know what? If that was a house built today, that shit would have been gone in 30 years. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
indeed. Imagination is needed to picture the castle in its heyday. Its ruined towers and slight walls sum up the shattered fortunes of a once great family. Sad.
Oh,
I
okay.
know. So, side quest for a moment. So, the War of the Roses is what George R.R. Martin, is that the writer of Game of Thrones?
Mhm.
Based a lot of that main. So, in the, God, what is that first book called? A Game of Fire and Ice
And
or something like that?
ice or
Or
song or something. Yeah, there's
yeah, the
something.
Song of Ice and Fire. There you go.
Song of
You're
Ice and
so
Fire. There we go.
smart. Um, and that, so like the main, like what the Game of Thrones, so not House of the Dragon or anything like that, because he's got a bunch of different he has many side quests going on.
Mhm.
So in his main quest of the Game of Thrones, which the Game of Thrones uh film adaptation was done after, is based on the War of the Roses in
Oh,
England.
interesting. Okay.
Yes. So that is something I've been meaning to do, and it's going on my list. So keep an eye. So
Good.
all you Game of Thrones fans, you will be
Nice.
attended to.
Attended to.
So the Hungerfords regained the castle after the Battle of Bosworth. Sorry, I am going to be
You
that
have to say
person.
it like that. Yeah, you
Thank
have
you.
to. There's no other way you could say
Sir
that.
Edward Hungerford attended Henry the Eighth, VII, at the
VII is
field.
7.
VII? No. Oh, it's 3.
7.
I.
Oh.
It's
Oh,
3.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's 8.
I'm sorry.
I said it wrong. My bad.
Wine.
I
No, I
can't
think you
read
were
for
right.
shit. So, so at the Field of the Cloth of Gold in 1520,
Mhm.
1520, not long after he had taken a widow, Agnes, bless her, well, maybe not bless her that much, she's not that nice, Kotal as his second wife. Agnes's former husband, John, prepare, had been steward to Sir Edward. So in her second marriage, she's done very well, yes?
Mhm. Right. Okay, yeah, married up there.
Oh yeah, hang in there. Just how she got rid of her humble husband number one, emerged in a trial in 1523 with the help of two servants. It was accused, or what do you say, alleged, that
Mm-hmm.
she throttled John to death, bless his heart. John didn't do anything,
Oh,
and yet
John.
Agnes, that greedy bitch, she disposed of his body in the kitchen furnace. It's called the body in the bread oven. That's what everyone talks about it. I know. I was like, ee.
But do you know
So,
how hot that's got to be to even like?
it never said that he was fully burned, but they didn't find
Okay.
him. So, for as long as Sir Edward lived, he protected her. So maybe he was in on it.
Mm.
Uh, but after his death in 1522, she was tried for murder with her accomplices, and all three were hanged at Tyburn.
Oh, yeah.
So she
Okay.
was found guilty.
Feel bad for the servants though, because you're doing literally just what somebody's told you to do, and you like have to
Yeah,
do it. So it's like,
but they didn't say anything after that. So would you have been granted, if
okay, I
you
see what
came
you're saying.
forward and said something, would you then be freed of your guilt or this fleshly prison you call a body? Because that did happen.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay.
Indeed. So Sir Edward's successor, Walter, served Thomas Cromwell, so well that he became Lord of Hungerford in 1536. But to his third wife, Elizabeth, whose father had fallen out of favor in Henry VIII's court,
Yep. That's it. There you go. Yeah.
he was less than devoted. So there is still a tower at Farley named the Lady Tower, where she was imprisoned for 3 years and abandoned, forced to rely on smuggled morsels for sustenance, and driven to drink her own urine. I know.
Yep. Don't know how to respond to that one. Just
I
like,
know. So,
there it
Lord Hungerford's
is.
fall was swift, accused of treachery, sorcery, and buggery for good measure. I don't know
We're
what
just like,
buggery
yeah.
is.
Oh,
Fuck this guy.
it's,
He
well, it's
was.
like basically it's like it would be like homosexuality. It's like
Oh.
anal
Oh,
sex,
and here I thought
essentially.
he was just being a butthead.
Yeah, no, it's like
He.
yeah.
Huh. Okay, well,
I feel
here's
like you're
me. I
just
was like,
throwing things at him at that point.
yeah. He was beheaded at the Tower together with his patron Thomas Cromwell in 1540. So she didn't die there. It didn't say
Okay.
that she died there. Anytime I looked it up, it said that they kind of just don't mention her. They just say that he died and all that. And I was like, shit, okay. But it says that she like lived on like people smuggled her food and stuff like that. So I don't know. What an asshole. So in the
Wow.
crypt beneath the marvelous castle chapel it gets creepier, are 8 sinister looking lead caskets, known technically as anthropoid coffins. So they contain the remains of Sir Edward Hungerford III, who died in 1648, and the family of his successor, Sir Hungerford, wait for it, the fourth. Bet you weren't seeing that one coming. The Spendthrift, he was called, who had to sell Farley in 1686.
Oh, I see.
Indeed. Sir Edward III's monument in the chapel itself shows him in a hook-nosed splendor, fully clad in Civil War armor. I don't think our Civil War, their Civil War. He had a
Yeah.
rather feeble record as a commander on the Parliament side, but he
Okay.
actually lies in one of the coffins in the crypt below. Okay, prepare yourself. This next part is a little macabre. Yes.
Okay. I just have so is this still at the Hungerford Castle?
Mm-hmm. You can go
Okay.
see it today.
Okay. I wasn't sure
You
if
can
we
see the caskets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this next part's a little bit macabre, so hang in there. If you
Tough.
thought the drinking urine was bad, it's gonna get worse.
Ah.
So these coffins contained embalmed bodies, obviously, pickled in a spirit. So bourbon, gin, whatever spirit they had back then. And their body shaped forms enabled the physical remains to be kept together after death and preserved intact, ready for resurrection at the sounding of the last trumpet.
Oh, right on. Okay. Yep.
Indeed. Four horsemen shit, right?
Yeah, this is like
That's what I figured.
revelation sort of stuff.
I kind
Yeah,
of
but
figured that's what they were talking about.
but I like the thought
So
of like resurrection, like somebody's going down there with a big old book and a cloak and is like, it's time, motherfuckers.
let's do this.
Yeah, blow it off.
The
Dust
dust would
everywhere.
be unimaginable.
Black flame candle. There you go. Or like
Oh yeah.
they
Oh
just
man,
like
I haven't
rise
watched
up.
Hocus Pocus at all this year. That needs to happen.
Thank you,
So
because I had to figure out like location as to where we were
yeah,
still.
no,
Okay,
we're all
thank you.
still there. So the caskets are in the chapel on the grounds of the castle. Excuse me.
Right.
The caskets are in the chapel on the grounds of the castle. Okay, sorry. There was a lot of C words going on there. I was trying to figure out what I was saying. This is what happens when I become inebriated and then try to tell you all something important from history that is hopefully accurate. So, never intended for public display, these exceptionally unusual, you know, it's not common to find an anthropoid coffin from how everyone was talking. I was like, okay, well, cool.
I'm gonna look it up.
So Farley was sold for salvage, the castle, in 1705. Many of its turrets and walls were leveled. By the 1830s, it had become a regular destination for the picturesque traveler in pursuit of chivalric reverie. In 1846, the future Emperor of France, Napoleon III, was among them. The coffins of Farley offered a particularly macabre dare for the most foolhardy of visitors. Holes were drilled into the lead, and samples of the corpse-infused spirit were offered to bolder thrill seekers for tasting.
That is the most Victorian shit I think I've ever heard.
And okay, but if it's in a lead coffin, isn't it tainted with heavy metals?
There's so much that you should not be doing about that. Like one,
Let
so
alone the dead body.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
disrespectful. Dead fluids. That's
Probably gross.
super dangerous.
Probably gross.
And then lead. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What in the fuck, Victoria? Like, yeah. They were eating mummies and like they were so obsessed with like
when you said that the other day, I was like, ugh.
Mummy powder, mummy paint, unwrapping parties. Like fucking Victorians were wild. And not like in like a fun, cool way. Like there were some moments where it was like a fun, cool way, but like in a way where you're like, what?
They're like your friend that graduated from like weed and booze to like coke and meth, and like they like jump off of buildings at parties, and you're like, dude, I love your free spirit. You need to dial it back a little bit. We need to come down to earth a little bit. I understand the need for the sheer freedom and joy in life. This isn't it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're like, hey, shots of dead body juice.
Yeah. So
that's
fantastic. So the Farley Hungerford Castle. So it's witnessed some pretty disturbing moments in history, but visiting today is altogether more delightful, though tinged with memories of bloodier times. So from there, that delightful destination, we move on to Barry Pomeroy, a Tudor mansion within the walls of an earlier castle near the village of Barry Pomeroy in South Devon. Is it Devon? Okay, England. I was literally sitting here reading it as Devon. I was like, Katie, stop. Yeah, I was like, wrong, incorrect. That's not it.
That would be normal to have happen. Like this isn't pronounced the way it should. Like it looks like it should be pronounced phonetically. So.
Well, apparently Nottingham is Nottingham, so Nottingham.
And all the shires or shears, you know.
I'm out.
Yeah, that's all right.
You don't call it the Sheer in Lord of the Rings. It's called the Shire. So listen, don't come at me. Tolkien, was he fucking English? He was English, wasn't he? Yeah. Yeah. And he said, he didn't say back in the Sheer, like, no, wrong. Just upset about it. Okay.
So we're on the bus. Okay. Next destination, South Devon.
Yes. All right. Okay. Am I driving?
Yeah, you are the Ms. Frizzle of this trip right now. That's what's happening.
That's the scariest part.
Yeah.
Me, like, why is everyone going the wrong way? As cars are like, okay, in South Devon, England. Here we are. Lord Seymour began his mansion when summoned to Queen Elizabeth I's court. It was intended to become, he's very, what did they say about him? He was, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? He had very grandeur ideas, right?
Okay.
Possibly a little bit too ambitious. Ambitious, that was the word
Okay.
they used. It was intended to become one of the most spectacular houses in Devon, with the magnificent north wing and its now vanished long gallery among the biggest ever built in England. So, yeah, it sounds like a lot of whatever he put there is like not there anymore. But oh, here you go. But the overly ambitious project foundered for lack of funds.
Mm-hmm.
The mansion was left unfinished. So, unfortunately, after lying abandoned for 100 years,
Oh wow.
casually,
Okay.
the picturesque Barry Pomeroy Castle became a magnet for artists and sightseers in the late 18th century. Visitors came to marvel at the ruins and speculate their supposedly sinister history. It's said that it has a romantic atmosphere, fostered with tales of hauntings and ghostly apparitions, and some of these stories are retold through the audio tour. So there is, at a lot of these castles, for those who are interested, we're taking our virtual tour today. But if you want to actually go and do the tour, a lot of these have like little audio tours that they hand you, and you can just walk around when you get there and enjoy it. Like the Hungerford Castle in Farley, uh, it's a picnic place, a very popular picnic place. And then the really rough one down at the bottom, our last destination, has a cafe attached. So who wouldn't want to? Yeah.
Perfect. I bet they have great sandwiches.
Not as good as Bath. No one will take that from me or them. So people walking through the castle report cold spots, feelings of fear, and pressure on the temples, strange noises and lights, and a spectral black hound. Real dogs hate being walked near the castle, and it's said that you can't even make them get close to it. They'll just flat out refuse. Like a donkey. Like,
Uh-huh.
nope, not happening. So, whatever that's about. Yeah.
Wow.
There are also many stories of cameras ceasing to work and film coming out fuzzy or blank.
Ooh.
Yes. More sinister, one of the ghosts is a woman named Matilda, known as the White Lady, who is said to have been imprisoned by her sister and starved to death in the room at the base of St. Margaret's Tower. They did a lot of like really not nice things to each other in the medieval times, by the way.
Don't worry, Katie. I won't lock you away. I hope you just don't
Thanks,
do the same
man.
to
I
me. Thanks.
appreciate it.
Okay.
It didn't say whether she was older or younger. I won't lock you away either, don't worry. So that one doesn't have a really deep dark history, but it does have a lot of activity, so that's why it got included on the tour. So we're gonna
Interesting.
jump back in the bus. Well, it's in the town of Carlisle. It is north of Blackpool.
So Blackpool's way up there.
Yes, by there's a
Is that?
Newcastle upon, is it Tyne
Mm-hmm.
or Thine? Okay, it's immediately to the west of that.
Yeah. It's about as far north as you go before you hit the Scottish border. Like
Scotland. Yes. Yep,
like
it's right on the
Carlisle
border.
and
Well, and
Newcastle are
that
like
becomes
even.
important. So
Right
we
between.
do
Okay.
not enter into Scotland then. That answers that question.
Okay.
So here we have
Sorry, Scots. We got close.
everybody
I'm
everybody's
sure you're
driving.
spooky as well. You're so
Oh,
spooky.
I'm sure Scotland's extremely spooky. Not to mention full of ruggedly handsome men. Oh my god. Next time we're watching wrestling, you need to see Drew McIntyre. Oh my lord.
I know what he
What a
looks like.
handsome, strapping hunk of a man. Like he's like almost 7 freaking feet tall, built like a brick shit house, has the most well kept beard. Look at this man. Hold on, sorry, I'm side questing again.
He's like a reincarnation of Robert the
Look at
Bruce.
him.
Yeah, I've
He
seen him
walks
before.
out with
Yeah,
he
he's got a
walks out with that
buzzword, right?
fucking broadsword. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my god, he's amazing. I will say though, handsome, wonderful man,
he actually is
beautiful
quite
blue
handsome. Yeah.
eyes,
Mhm.
amazing heavy accent, which sets my heart a fluttering. Anyway, so when he wrestles, so he walks out in the kilt, but when he wrestles, he has just like the undies, like how The Rock used to and all that. He has a
Mhm.
very what we call traditional wrestling outfit. So, but there was one
Ah, no,
point,
keep the kilt on him. That'd be fun.
that's what I said. But
He can
he
still
like
wear his
walked,
little breeches underneath,
yeah,
like
his
because
stankies.
Well, yeah, because like it's televised, right? Otherwise, just
Yeah,
go free, But um,
let's not.
yeah.
I don't need to see that. He's
I
handsome
want to
and
see the
all,
pile
but
driver with the kilt that goes the wrong direction as he gets picked up and the kilt goes down. And it's just balls.
eh. That's all right.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so now that I side quested us, here we are at Carlisle Castle, right on the border of Scotland. So Carlisle Castle, it's a stone keep medieval fortress. I think most of these are located in the city of Carlisle. Imagine that, near Hadrian's Wall. Hadrian's Wall.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
Okay, I figured you would know what that was.
How often do you think
First
about the
built,
Roman Empire?
yeah, well, yes.
Okay,
So
sorry.
first built during the reign of William II in 1092,
Mm-hmm.
and was rebuilt in stone under Henry I in 1122. The castle is over 930 years old. It's fucking old as shit. If I thought the other stuff was older, it's way older.
So this is your oldest castle that you have on the list.
Easily.
Okay, yeah.
Easily, yeah. So standing proud in a city that it has dominated for 9 centuries, Carlisle Castle remained a working fortress until well within living memory, which was really interesting. It withstood many sieges, held a captive royal prisoner, and has been home to the king's own Royal Border Regiment.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the site where Mary, Queen of Scots, was held captive in 1568 by order of her cousin, Queen
Ah,
Elizabeth I. It was at Carlisle Castle.
interesting. Okay.
Fleeing from her rebellious Scottish subjects, Mary was the heir apparent to the English throne. She was also a Catholic, the ally of the French, which apparently mattered, an ally of the French, and is far too dangerous to be allowed to remain free. She was imprisoned at Carlisle Castle under the watchful eye of Francis Knollys, Knollys, Knollys.
Sure.
Yep, he allowed the queen to take walks in front of the castle on what is now known as the Ladies' Walk. So at least she got some exercise.
I was like, that was
So,
nice of him, I guess.
right? I know. It's like she's getting her steps in. Uh,
How good of you, sir. Thank you.
right? It has its fair share of chilling secrets, one of which is revealed in a room that used to be a dungeon during the Jacobite rising
Jacobite. Yeah.
in
Mm-hmm.
the 18th century. In here, you can find the licking stones. Have you heard of these?
Please
They
tell
so
me
the
everything about it.
Yeah, so there's stones in
Oh,
the castle walls that were licked by the desperate prisoners trying to obtain moisture
because
from the
water would
cramped
come through the,
conditions.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really sad. It's like that's
Actually, I
fucking
think I've
sad.
seen this. There's a Andy
They're
the
like worn
Highlander.
smooth.
Yeah. So Andy the
Yeah,
Highlander is an account I follow on Instagram, and
yeah,
well, if there's licking stones, there might be other licking stones in places in Scotland. I'm sure there probably are, but
yeah,
he was touring a place where it was like this little teeny tiny prison, and like everyone was basically just were like shoulder to shoulder in there, which that
yeah,
just like I hate everything about that already. And
yeah,
then like so only a few of them on the outside would get moisture by licking the stones,
yeah.
and
Exact
everyone
same
just kind of
thing.
yeah.
It was a
Okay.
time because it was a dungeon, but it was a room, so they
Mm-hmm.
just jammed them in there.
I wonder if
So
it's the same place. Okay.
yeah, well, it might be Carlisle Castle.
Okay.
Reel you all back in. We're
All
gonna
right.
leave Mary Queen of Scots there with the licking stones. We're gonna get back on the bus. Next on our haunted tour, our little bus, I'm driving. Not quite like the skeleton from Halloween Town, but close. Uh, and is Oakhampton Castle.
Okay.
Oakhampton Castle is a medieval motte, Motte, not moat, but motte. Yeah, thank you for having the same reaction I did.
Okay.
Uh, is a Mott and Bailey castle in Devon, England. So it's a type of castle. So like a lot of them were, what did they call them? At medieval. Hold on, let me scroll upward.
A European fortification with a wood or stone keep situated on a raised area of ground called a motte or a moat. I'm
That's what
assuming
it
it's
was.
motte.
Yes. Is
Okay.
it was not all stone. That's what I remember. Okay. So
Oh, I see it. Okay.
interesting, right? So this we're back in Devon.
Right.
It was
Okay.
built between 1068 and 1086 by Baldwin Fitzgilbert. These fucking names are ridiculous, by the way. I'm sitting there, I'm like, are you kidding me?
It's the most pretentious fucking name
It
I think
is.
I've
I
ever heard.
really hope our English family does not listen to this podcast sometimes because I'm like, your stuff is ridiculous. And they're like, yeah, well, it's the original. So,
Yeah, like who had it first? Who had it first? All right.
exactly. Doesn't mean
Fair.
we didn't
I
improve on
concede.
it. Just kidding. Oh, shots fired.
And that's the
So,
shot heard round the world right there, history friends.
I'm kidding. Okay, back to jolly old England and its reign. So, Baldwin Fitzgilbert. So it was built by him following a revolt in Devon against Norman rule. It formed the center of the Honor of Oakhampton, guarding a crossing point across the West Oakament River. So everything's oaky there,
Okie dokie.
I'm assuming. Did you say okie dokie?
Yep. Is it a okay? Is it? Is I was really trying hard on that one. Is it okie dokie artichoke over there?
Some might say.
Okay, cool.
So, according to legend, as with a lot of things from the 1600s, like think back to like Robin Hood era. So it's this legend originated in the 17th century. So what I'm about to say is there's not an exact date for it.
Right.
It's somewhere in there. So every night at midnight, the ghost of Lady Howard travels from the Oakhampton Castle to her old home in Tavistock in a coach made of bones of her former husbands. Shut the fuck up, that's amazing, first of all. I'd be sitting there giving her applause on the way through. I mean, it depends on what her husbands did. But the coach is driven by a headless coachman, and a skeletal hound follows behind. It gets even better. Like, how is that even possible? Some believe she has an eternal task to remove all the grass from around the castle, just one blade at a time. She's a fucking landscaper. Way, way less cool. But that one, this like famous like bone thing, apparently you can see her. So
do you see the bone carriage and everything too, and the
that's
spectral
what everybody
hound?
says, and you see the bone hound behind it. That's what I said. I was like, why is this not more popular?
That's rad as hell, and so
That's what
metal
I
too.
said. And she's just landscaping. I could think of a lot of better things to do with a bone carriage. No bones about it. So,
Indeed.
You're not the only one who can have puns around here. So wave goodbye to the bone carriage. We're getting back on the bus.
Okay. See you, lady.
Proop, 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 proop.
Like your whip.
Buckle up. Good luck with the grass.
Like with the grass. Just get yourself a riding lawnmower, honey. It's okay.
Honestly, zero turn. They're worth the money.
Zero turn. Yeah. Hook her up. Come on, Ace Hardware. Let's get on that.
So, okay, so we're back in the bus. I'm driving us towards our last destination. Spooky, though. This is one that you will actually probably know the name of.
Okay. I'm ready.
The infamous Whitby Abbey.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you don't know about the infamous Whitby Abbey? Whitby?
No, I mean, I probably will once you start telling stories, but I'm not offhand.
It's coming. Here we go. Okay. Whitby Abbey. We're all getting out. And it's really like the way they have it lit up in the picture that they have at night is like super creepy. They light it up and it looks all spooky dooky.
Spooky dooky?
Any poop you take in October is a spooky dooky. You're welcome. I'm going to take a drink of wine. I'll let you marinate with that for a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't you miss me?
I missed you so much, Katie. Yeah. Yes, indeed, Whitby Abbey is spooky dooky based on how they light it at night. Spooky dooky.
So, on to the real spooks, though. Legend says a young nun, Constance de Beverley, broke her sacred vows when she fell in love with a gallant knight. That's knight, just so we all know. Called Marmion?
It's fine.
Bit of a
Marmion?
nerd name. Marmion. Marmion. Marmion.
All right.
I've been really fucking on point with the names tonight, so I'm feeling pretty proud, especially that I'm lightly inebriated. I got this.
Nice work.
Thank you. When the other nuns found out her secret, sad. Her punishment was to be bricked up alive in the walls of the building.
Fuck that.
I know. It's like the cask of Amontillado all over. Amontillado, right? Amontillado? The Edgar
Oh my
Allan
God.
Poe, where they brick him up.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's okay.
Do you know that's the first Edgar Allan Poe I ever read? And I was like 8, and I was so confused. Mom had to like explain it. She's like, maybe this is just a little bit too old for you. I was like, all right. There it is.
I think I remember also reading Edgar Allan Poe like way too early as well. And I was like, I actually don't know what's going on.
Right? And you're like, what the fuck is happening? And Mom's just like, maybe ambitious, admirable, don't.
What our Uncle Charlie got me like a set of
did he?
Edgar Allan Poe.
That does not surprise me.
Which
He
is the
was
most Uncle
so
Charlie
fucking
thing.
rad.
Yeah.
He was so rad.
I think I was also 8 or 9. Yeah.
Yeah, but he had the like coolest interests.
Yeah.
And unless you sat down and talked to him, he had just this wealth of information and cool experiences that you just wouldn't know about otherwise. That's cool.
It's cool. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Thanks, Uncle Charlie.
Bless up. We gotta cheers him, bro.
I know.
You at?
Unfortunately, I'm empty.
Oh, girl.
No, and I can't do it with water, so I just got a drop left.
Yep. Gotta get it. All right, here we are, wrapping it up. Bricked up into the walls of the building. Very sad.
Ugh.
Today, but notice how it's the female who's punished, not the man. But anyway, I'll keep my commentary to myself.
Mm-hmm.
So today it is said that her ghost can be seen at the site of Whitby Abbey, cowering and begging to be released, which is fucking sad. I'm about to go there and be like, you did nothing wrong. They're buttheads. You take your piece in this afterlife, girl. Why this is sort of decently famous, most people are probably listeners. If you are a fan of Bram Stoker, you're going to understand the Whitby Abbey. In Bram Stoker's novel, Dracula, 1897 novel if you want to be exact, it featured Count Dracula as a creature resembling a large dog which came ashore at the headland and runs up the 199 steps to the graveyard of St. Mary's Church in the shadow of the Whitby Abbey ruins.
Oh.
Do you recognize that or no? I didn't know how well you knew Dracula.
I've read the book.
Oh,
long
good for
time
you.
ago.
I just like to put my bra on my cat's head and pretend she's Gary Oldman. Dude, her eyes were like so big and it was just like boom. She was like,
Gary Oldman was simultaneously at his hottest and at his not hottest within that movie.
Easily. I don't know.
Also Sirius Black.
He's a
so
baby,
handsome.
Sirius Black. I was just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah. Dracula. What are we talking about? Are we talking about? Oh yeah, you went with the
Whitby Abbey is featured in Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Right.
So it has its little claim to fame there. It is also said that a phantom choir can be heard on January 6th every year at dawn, the old Christmas day. Back in ye olden days, that's when they celebrated Christmas. It was the day of, isn't that the Day of Enlightenment or something? Or is that January 15th? Can't remember.
I'm sorry, what was the date again?
January 6th.
Okay, yeah, it's the day that the three kings get
wise
there.
men ended up there, right? Yeah, kings. There you go. Yeah, that stuff. Good job, Laurel.
Anyway, yeah.
Epiphany.
The actual Epiphany. There it is. Yes, I was gonna say. I know. You had an epiphany.
I got this. Yeah, there you go. Some might say. I tend to. All right. So that's Whitby Abbey, yes? It is actually, sorry, I just realized I didn't give you the location of it. Let me give you the location of Whitby Abbey. North York National Park, which is just north of Leeds, and so north of Manchester, south of Newcastle upon Tyne. So we're a little further south from where we were. Carlisle is way to the west, so we're all the way on the English Channel side. Is this the English Channel over here? Please tell me I'm right. Nope, it's the North Sea.
Yeah.
I got there.
Yeah,
I've got Google Maps.
Definitely north. Okay, yep.
Yes, so it's north of Scarborough and south of Middlesbrough. for
Mhm.
anybody who knows where those are. And it's
Okay.
right on the coast, right there. Whitby Abbey literally overlooks the ocean.
Oh.
Yeah. Thus, dear listeners, thus concludes our small tour. This was a small one. Of haunted castles in England. Please keep all hands and feet inside the vehicle until it has come to a complete stop. Make sure you grab all small and or loose items and small children as you exit the tour. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the spooky with Hightailing Through History, and have a great rest of your day. And I did, in fact, write all of that out because I was sitting there typing and I'm like, Blake's like, what? And I was like, nothing, just stupid jokes.
I'm so proud of you. So proud.
There, I'm glad you
end the show on that. That was, oh man, I felt so good about that. Good job, Katie. Bravo.
Thanks, man.
Bravo.
I'm super glad that you like my humor.
Oh. And story too.
There's probably a lot of listeners rolling their eyes right now, like, oh boy, here we go again.
I love the shit out of back. Oh, I love the hell out of it. Thank you. I'm sure everybody else did too, or at least got a good eye roll out of it. What a great tour.
I know.
That was so good. Thank you. And that's the thing, yeah. And that was just England, right? A handful of haunted castles and places in England.
There was another list, but it was in Ireland, and I didn't want to jump around too much because sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's nice to just center in one little location. But I can always do more. I'm more than happy to put together another tour of grotesque, terrible tellings of medieval doings. So all you must do is request it. So if an email pops up, I will do it.
Hightailinghhistorypod@gmail.com.
Yeah, if listeners don't know, like if you have like suggestions, like please send them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're not going to say no. Yeah, and like, well, obviously depending on what it is. Sometimes we logistically might not be able to do it, but I don't think people seriously take it. Oh, it'd be great if we did this. Well, say it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Send it in.
Yeah, you email, hightailinghhistorypod@gmail.com, or Instagram. I'm on there all the time. Hightailing History.
The
gram.
People call it the Insta, so I have to be the anti and say the gram.
Yeah, hit me up at the gram, and yes, DM.
Slide into those DMs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that puts us at our final episode today of technically season 1, even though we've already been doing this for like
season ever.
2.5 year season 1. But yeah, we're going to start having season breaks. So we're going to have 8 episodes on and then a full 6 weeks off. And during that time, we're going to be doing some researching and writing and trying to get more social media presence going. And I get the back catalog of all of our episodes up on YouTube. Some other things going. So I just kind of need
a lot of housekeeping to do.
Yeah. So we'll still be working, but like, behind the scenes, and then we'll be back with you again on December 1st. That'll be our first day back of season 2. I hope you guys have an amazing Halloween season, spooky season. Be safe out there. And also, like, don't worry about weed in your candy. Nobody's spending their weed.
Yeah, right. God, if only. Where do I get that deal?
I just love handing out all my edibles to children all the time. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, stay safe, stay spooky. Have a wonderful Halloween.
Take your spooky dookies. Happy, fruitful harvest season, and spend this time to be grateful. Look back on your year, and set intentions for your upcoming year. It starts now, right? This is when the harvest. This is our time to feast. Sit back. Look on what we could have done better, celebrate what we did great, enjoy our families, enjoy our time together, and then we'll be back in December to celebrate the coming new year.
Yeah. That's gorgeous. All right. Yeah. December 1st, we'll see y'all again for season 2's premiere. And in the meantime, folks, get money, get high, give love, and Katie?
Listen, y'all gotta stay spooky. Ghouls, gals, non-binary pals, and take those spooky dookies. Take your kombucha, keep it regular.
We'll miss you. Bye.